Hey everybody, this is Greg Gossett from Gossett Trading and Mentoring Live, and today is Wednesday, May 6, 2020, and we again are in the final hour of the trading day. I mention this each day, but in my opinion, the best time to make your buying and selling decisions is at the end of the day. In the last hour, particularly in the last few minutes, I mention this because during the day you have the day traders' algorithms. They are the ones controlling the price. In the last hour, the large financial institutions come in. They're coming in with the most money. They're dealing so they have very smart, intelligent people. They have very good information. They have the best technology, and then they take the control of the pricing away from the day traders and the algorithms. And like I said, they have the best information, research. They are dealing with a lot of money, and I like to make my buying and selling decisions based upon what they're doing at the end of the day. So anyway, thank you so much for coming. Always good to see everybody. I really look forward to it. I think we have such great groups, such good input, comments, poems, all sorts of stuff. So thank you as always for coming. I hope you're getting something out of spending some time here and investing your time here on this channel. So, all right, well, let's see what's going on. Dow Jones is down 53 points. NASDAQ is down 89 points. I'm sorry. Dow Jones is down 54 points. The NASDAQ is up 90 points. And the S&P is down 1.24. So pretty kind of boring day today. We haven't had a whole lot of moves compared to what we have in the last week and so forth. So, but that's fine. Gives us a little breathing room as well. So, all right, let's take a look here. Dan is here. Hey, Dan, good to see you, sir. Dan says, hi, group and Greg. Bob is here. Hello, Bob. Nice to see you. Appreciate you coming. Steve Burns says, hi, everyone. Nice momentum move in SPICE today after the 50-20 day crossover a few days ago. Yes. Let me put this over here so we can look at it for sure, and so I don't forget. But thank you, Steve, for coming. Always appreciate you being here. Always an honor, always a privilege to have you here in the chat. Thank you so much. Hope you, Holly, and the dogs are doing well. Scatty13 is here. Hello, how you doing? Hope you got the emails that I sent with those documents. Frank is here. Hey, Frank, good to see you, my friend. Always nice to see you. Hope you're having a good day. And all right, well, look, here's the plan for today. First of all, we're going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer. Secondly, going to come back, take a look at my current positions, when I bought them, why I bought them, how I'm going to manage them going forward. I've also had a few day trades today. I'll be sharing those day trades with you. And then some of you have been kind enough to share your trades with me. So we're going to be going over those and taking a look and seeing how those are doing. After that, we're going to spend a few minutes on trader psychology. My opinion, most important part of the day on the live stream. It is very important to learn how to trade. You have to do it. You have to understand technicals and entries and exits and indicators, but you do that so that you can create a plan. But following your plan, after that, that's when it gets tough. That's when you're dealing with your own psychology. That's when you're dealing with fear and greed. And I mention this each day, but listen, in order for you to be able to be a profitable trader over the long run, not in just short little bursts, but over the long run, which is important, you have to be able to follow your plan. It's a must. And getting your emotions heightened one way or the other about a loss or a gain and breaking your plan, that's what takes away from the system and the approach and the trading plan that you created in the first place. So I do like to touch on that, and hopefully by hearing me discuss it each day, you will internalize it and make it part of your entire trading plan. After that, going to go down through my watch list. I have 3 requirements whenever I look for a potential entry. First is I have to have a confluence or a combination of indicators lining up, or in other words, a confluence or combination of buyers. I look at indicators as groups of buyers, and you'll put yourself in the best position. You'll increase your odds dramatically if you enter a trade with a lot of other buyers. And so, you know, if I see a MACD crossover, if I see a moving average, if I see a V1, I look at those as three different groups of buyers, and you put yourself in a much better position to have a profitable trade if you're in the company of as many other buyers as possible. So that's requirement number one. Requirement number two, always have to look, analyze the chart, and analyze what your risk to reward is. I like to have at least 2 times to the upside compared to my downside, and that's the way you make money in the long term, is that you're not going to always have profitable trades, but the wins need to be larger than the losses, and you can do that by identifying some kind of legitimate resistance above you compared to support below you. And you know, if you have 2 times or more to the upside to that legitimate resistance, then you're in a good position. So 2 to 1 risk to reward is always a minimum for me. And then number 3, just make sure your positions are not too heavily correlated. You're not too heavy in any one particular industry. You spread it out between different industries, and ideally spread it out between other securities other than just equities, if you can, like gold or silver or bonds or oil. So anyway, I'm going to go down through, take a look, look for those 3 requirements at the end of the day. If I see something on the first pass of the stock watch list, I'll go ahead, check it off. And at the end of the day, I'll look at my candidates, go through it with a fine-tooth comb, and look to narrow it down to really the best trade. Really, I ideally like to just take 1 trade a day if I can. Just, you know, the best trade of the day. So, and if I find something, it all works, it all qualifies, I'll enter the position at the end of the day. After that, after the market closes, if anybody has any questions for me, please let me know. If you need any clarification, please let me know. If you'd like me to take a look at any indicators, any symbols, please let me know. I'm happy to give you my opinion. If there's any, if there are any stock symbols that you'd like me to look at before the market closes that would be helpful to you or maybe to the group, please don't be shy, put them in the chat and put a star by them so I know they're time sensitive. So, all right, well, that's the plan for today. If you could be so kind and hold on for about 40 seconds, I'm going to run that U.S. legal disclaimer and I will be back shortly. Thank you. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Please carefully read and/or listen to the U.S. government required disclaimer before watching this video or live stream broadcast. The video link and disclaimer text are located in the description section of this video or live broadcast, here and here. Thank you so much. All right. Hey, looks like Mohammed's here. Good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming. Always nice to have you. Christopher Hitchens here. Hey, Christopher. Good to see you. Hope you're having a good evening. Kamal is here. Hey, buddy. How you doing? Hope you're having a good day. Scatty, yes, got the emails. Thanks. Great. Glenn says, hey, Greg, work $28 is looking interesting. Breakout over 30 gives a reverse head and shoulders to 40. Let's take a look. Oh, I see. Yeah, breakout over here. Yeah, had a decent V2 a couple days ago. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Yeah, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Looks like we're getting close to a MACD crossover. We're over 50. We're trending up. We had that V2 in the value zone. Let's take a look at the weekly. Kind of sideways there on the weekly. But yeah, definitely having a good day. Gert is here. Hey, Gert, good to see you. Appreciate you coming. All right, well, let's get to it. All right, so I'll start off with the stinker of the day. I did buy gold yesterday on the 5th of May when I had this higher low V2, nice washout of day 1. close above day one's close. Bought it here at 160.97, and today it just puked. So my stop loss is halfway of yesterday's washout bar, so it definitely looks like it's going to close under that. I'm going to go ahead and just have to take the loss, which is a bummer. But I did like that trade yesterday. I did. I like the return to value. I like the higher low and the nice V1 and the bullish engulfing bar at the same time. But it didn't cooperate and just went right down. I actually did have a day trade on gold here, and I'll show you. So this is on the 5-minute chart. Here we have a low with deep MACD bars. We rallied, had some green bars, and then we came down on this bar, rejected the third ATR channel, rejected the 30 RSI, and closed above. What was the reading when I bought it? 32.51. So it gave me a good risk to reward ratio. Close under 30 would be my stop. But again, the reason the setup was here, we have the low with deep MACD bars, we rally with green bars, we come back down, test the negative third ATR channel, close back above, low RSI reading. It moved nicely, but what happened is that, let's see here. Yeah, it moved more than one ATR away from my entry. It moved right away after I bought it, but then on this bar here, it closed below the previous day's low. So it wasn't a big winner. I bought it 158.37, sold it at 158.49, but still for 25 minutes, it was decent and helped mitigate a little bit of the loss on gold. We've rallied back up here, so that's nice. That helps, you know, any amount that it can go up here and reduce the loss before I have to get out is appreciated. And it looks like Karen and Miko25 and Dan and myself were in this one. So that was a bummer, down 1.22% today. All right, MasterCard. I did buy MasterCard yesterday on the 5th of May when we had the 1050 crossover. This is a good back-tested approach to trading MasterCard. Good thing about crossovers is they allow you a good structure to get out quickly if you're wrong and to be in a big trend to the upside if you're right. I bought it here at 273.87. Right now it's at 274.72, so it is up so far since I bought it. My stop on this would be close below both the 10 and the 50. If the price closes below both the 10 and the 50, I would get out a half. If then the 10 actually closed under 50, I would also get out of that second half. To the upside, I will scale out profit-wise. If I hit them, I'll have to see if it does go up, how it reacts around the 200-day. That's an area of concern, but it's not there yet. But anyway, glad to see it still up from the entry so far. Okay, world famous buy trade, real quick. I do buy the SPY every day at the close. I hold it overnight. I take the overnight risk and I sell it first thing next morning. This is from Lizanne Saunders. This is a back test from Lizanne Saunders. She's at Bespoke Invest on Twitter. They tested two approaches every day since 1993. First approach, buy the SPY at the open in the morning, hold it through the day, sell it at the afternoon. Using this approach every day since 1993 would have actually returned you a negative 13.9% return. However, the second approach is the one that I use, buy the SPY at the close, hold it overnight, take the overnight risk, sell it first thing the next morning, positive 634.2% return. So big difference between buying it in the morning, selling it in the afternoon, and buying it in the afternoon and selling it the next morning. Past performance is no guarantee of future results, and that goes for any trading approach. But you can see over time, although there's lots of ups and downs, over time the equity curve has been very positive and in the long run has gone up. So I do like this approach. Like I said, there's ups and downs. 2019 was a fantastic year using this approach. 2020 began horribly, but the last month and a half has been much better and made a big comeback. But you know, I do position size conservatively with this. This is just a trade that I want to take every day as long as I'm trading. I know there's ups and downs, but I just have to look at the long term, and the long term has performed very well. So with that being said, I did buy the SPY yesterday at the close at 286.19, sold it this morning at 286.19, sold it this morning at 288.01. So last couple days been nice. Bought here at the close, sold a nice gap. Bought here at the close, sold a nice gap. So I will be buying this again today at the close. All right, IWM. I did buy IWM back here on the 1st of May. I bought it when we have a 1050 SMA crossover. This is a good back-tested approach to trading IWM. As with all crossovers, they give you basically a good risk to reward. If the 10 crosses underneath the 50, you quickly get out. If it turns into a trend, well, these crossovers will keep you in the trend. If it keeps going up, you will be with it. So I bought it here at 125.01. Moved up really nicely yesterday. I did hit 2 profit targets, and at the end of the day, I did sell a quarter of the position that I had left because it got it did a 50% retracement. Here's the high, here's the low. It got right to the 50% and rejected it, which concerned me a little bit. Didn't get me out of the whole position, but it was a little bit of a red flag. And so when I see red flags, I like to take another portion of my position off. So up 12 cents today, no profit targets, but steady as she goes here on IWM. All right, and then lastly, Apple. I did take 2 trades on Apple, intraday trades that I will show you. 5-minute bars, we were above the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone in between the green lines. Here's the 1 ATR channel. Here's this the positive ATR channel. Here's the negative 1 ATR channel. Came into the value zone, nice sideways movement. This is what I want. I want it to come back to value. I want it to consolidate. I want an attempt to go down and then reverse back up. So I bought it here on this 5-minute bar at 302.16. Immediately went my way, and then just was hanging out, going sideways. Then it rejected the 1 ATR channel and triggered a V1 to the downside, which was enough for me. So I did buy it here at 302.16, and I sold it here at 302.71. So not too bad for about 25 minutes. So I got out of the position. Then you see this bar right here. We had a rejection of the range of the previous highs up here. It went up, went right back down, formed a V1. I didn't sell it then. I didn't short it then. I wanted to wait and see if we would get a counter reaction up to about halfway of this bar. Because remember, if you have a big down bar, very often you will retrace and go back up, but you will get stuck at about 50%. That's exactly what I did. So I didn't wait till the end of the bar. It went down. I was like, okay, I'm going to try to short on a little bit of strength. And when it got up to the halfway, I shorted it here at 302.89. And it immediately went down nicely for me. And I covered down here at 302.02. So it made about 87 cents to the downside. And I got out when we rejected the negative 1 ATR channel. And then it moved sideways, and then it dumped. I was like, oh, dang, I should have kept it. But still, it was a good trade because then it rallied back up. So anyway, 2 good trades on Apple there, a long and a short. And so that's it. So all in all, pretty good. Gold was really the only stinker today, but the day trades definitely helped kind of bring that, reduce that down, that loss back down. All right. Oh, and I should say that Steve Burns and Frank are also in the IWM trade in the 1050 crossover. All right, let's go back over here to Bing He. So Bing He has been in this trade for a while here. He bought bonds here at 168. Initially went immediately his way and then kind of danced around his entry price, but then it has gone down. So Bing He, if there are any changes to this trade, please let me know. It looks like it did bounce off the negative third ATR channel, so that's positive. But if there's any changes there, let me know. Dirk. Dirk did buy MTA back here on the May 1st. Return to value, sideways motion, V1. Gapped up nicely, and now it's come back down, unfortunately. But I know Dirk told me that his stop is a close under the 50-day. Okay, Bing He. Look at this trade. Beautiful trade. Above the value zone, into the value zone. He took it here with the V1, although he had to do it the next day because he lives in Singapore, but basically he got even a little better price than he would have. But that was his trade entry, and this has moved up beautifully. He bought this at 410.40, now 438.90. Congratulations, Bing He. That's a 6.63% trade. So fantastic. Really glad to see that. Amazon. All right. So GM, who's in the chat sometimes, she bought puts down to 1900 by June 8th. So in about a month, this has got to be down here in order for her to make money. Although she still can make money time value wise, depending how it goes down. But she's probably about break even on that, possibly a little down. OMB Gert, look at this. Gert bought OMAB back here on the 5th at 30.65. Earlier in the day, I saw it was way down here, and I was like, ah, dang it. But it's had a beautiful reversal, and so she is now in the money. So congratulations, Gert. Uber. Nick sold puts at $27 May 15th. So in about a week or so, these expire. It's going to have to be under $27 in order for him to make money. Okay, well that looks like it's it. David's here. Good to see you, David. Appreciate you coming by. Zach is here. Hello, Zach. Frank says, here's a poem. Surgeon General warns smoking is bad for our health, so can make markets be to our wealth. Make trading a good habit, not a hat trick with a rabbit. Don't rely on hope, lest your money go up in smoke. Excellent. Let me give it one more try. Surgeon General warns smoking is bad for our health, so can markets be to our wealth. Make trading a good habit, not a hat trick with a rabbit. Don't rely on hopes, lest your money go up in smoke. Fantastic, Frank. Thank you. It's actually in the psychology section today. I am going to be talking about habits. So how about that for a coinky dink? All right, let me save that there. Frank says, revisit for a second day trade on SC. Bought at the open at 58.05. Oh, snap. Excellent, Frank. Look at that. He bought at 58.05 and it's 62.42. Right about there. Fantastic. Congratulations, my friend. Wow, what a trade. Up 7%. Man, congratulations. Gert says, you sell the SPY first thing next morning, so not waiting half an hour or so. No, I buy it at the end of the day. As soon as the market's closed, I put my order in to sell the next day at the open. So I don't even have to worry about it. I don't have to get up for it. I just sell the very next morning. Zach 1662, good to see you, bud. Hello, Greg and friends. Good to see you, Zach. Gert says, what's your return with the SPY and selling over the last years, Greg? You know, I started in 2019 and I think it was an annualized return somewhere between 12, 13% because I only did it for half of the year. And then this year I am down, well, percentage wise, I guess I'm down about 8% this year. This has been a tough year, but net, it's been positive. Dirk says, hey, let's see. Hey, Greg and all, some delay after some biking. All right. Marco, good to see you, Marco. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having a good evening. Glenn says, CRM 164.81, 1050 EMA, rise above 50, MACD turning positive, interested to buy with the target over 200. So the 1050 crossover happened back here on the 4th, it looks like to me. And it has moved up nicely since then. Did you buy it back there, Glenn? Steve says, I'm long Spice at 1866 after the 520 EMA crossover and break above resistance. Oh, let's take a look. Yeah, so did that cross under? Did that have a cross under? Let's see. 5 is 1741, 1717, 1715 to 1712, and then we had the move back up today. So I don't see the cross under unless my charts are off a little bit, but it is nice that it did bounce above the 200-day or the 50-day moving average for sure, and it's still in a decent place in the value zone. A lot of volume today after earnings. All right, so let me get Steve down here. Do I have that right? 1866. Got it. Okay. We've got Steve Burns on the board with the crossover on Spice. Christopher, Steve, let's all go to space to get away from it will push Spice up. Good. Bing He, hey bud, good to see you. Nice trade on Netflix today. STLD. Well, we came into the value zone. We did go sideways. We do have a V1. It's above 50. MACD is positive. Bounced off the 20. Yeah, not too bad as long as that V1 confirms today and doesn't close under. So if you do anything with that, let me know. Zach says, I entered Spice earlier as well. Zach, I'm new to this and I have a question for everyone. What is a realistic expectation for an average return on a month of trades? Well, I'll just give you my opinion, Zach. I mean, people have all sorts of different, expectations and what their goals are. But for me, it's 1 to 1.5% a month, 12 to 18% a year. Okay. All right. So listen, before we go down through my watch list today, before we look for any potential trades, I do like to spend a few minutes on trader psychology. There's some really good Facebook channels, really good Twitter channels out there that I look at every day. And I look to see what they post. And when I see something that looks good and I think would be helpful for the group, I like to cut it out, paste it over here and talk about it. This is from Trading Composure, at Trading Composure on Twitter. Fantastic channel. I would really suggest that you subscribe to it. Has great information, understands trading psychology to a science, man. He really gets into the weeds, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but in a good way. He really digs down. But look, this is short and sweet. Spanish proverb: habits begin as cobwebs and end up as chains. And I mean, this is so true, right? It doesn't matter if you're trading or any other aspects in life, but you know, they begin as cobwebs, meaning it's not too much of a habit. But once you really get into a habit of something, it ends up as change, which can be a positive or a negative. I mean, you know, washing your hands, brushing your teeth, I'm sure everyone's in the habit of doing that, and that's a good habit. It's a good thing, right? But when it comes to trading, and you can go down two different roads. You can get into good habits of cutting your losses quickly, of position sizing correctly, waiting for good setups to appear. If you get into the habit of that, they're going to end up as chains, but chains in a good way to make sure that you always have good habits in trading. But if you get into a habit of trading for excitement or wanting to gamble or just saying, okay, I'm going to do this trade, but just once, I'm just going to do it once. Anybody ever thought that? I'm sure you have. I know I have. But you know, everything I do in trading is to try to get into good habits, you know, good habits of sleeping, good habits of eating and exercising, and having a plan that I follow and making that habit, right? At first, like he says, habits are cobwebs. You know, if you've never smoked before and you smoke, well, you can quit real quick because they're not chains. But I used to smoke and they were chains after you get into the habit. That's a bad habit. I'm really, really glad that I quit, right? So try to cultivate good habits in life, try to cultivate good habits in trading. And what I mean by good habits are follow your plan. Make sure you have all your requirements for your setup, and don't get into that good habit so that you don't have to break bad habits. People who golf, they have bad habits in golf. It's hard to break them. People who have bad habits in trading, it's hard to break because they end up as change. But if you do have bad habits, just say, look, I'm going to cultivate some new habits so that those new habits become chains. And if you're just new to trading, well, you've got an advantage because it's much easier for you. All you have to do is have a good trade plan, follow it, and you don't have to break bad habits. And then you'll build up chains of good habits in trading. So anyway, this is definitely relevant in trading and in life, but let's try to cultivate those good habits. Let's not make exceptions. So anyway, thank you, Trading Composure. Appreciate it. And definitely subscribe to his channel. I think it's really, really great. Great things to read. Okay. So, looks like the Dow's gone down a bit. Looks like things have gone down quite a bit here. So Dow's down 115, S&P went negative, NASDAQ's still up 70. Let's take a quick look. All right, gold, I'm definitely have to get out of gold here today, but I'm glad that it has bounced off the bottom and mitigated that loss for sure. MasterCard still under the 1050 EMA cross, right about even on the trade. SPY, boy, I'm glad I got out when I did. I'll tell you that. That was a nice little overnight SPY trade. So I guess I'll be buying this again today. IWM. Still fine. Still fine. Still slightly positive. And then Apple. Oh, okay. I don't need Apple here anymore. That was the day trades on Apple. All right. All right, well, let's go down, see if anything looks interesting today. Apple does not. It's definitely cruising on up here, up another $4.50 today. But, you know, we're getting extended. We've rejected the third ATR channel. Remember, 92% of prices reject the third ATR channel. Here it got rejected. Here it got close to being rejected. Now we're back up again. But it's a 63.39 RSI, just too high for me. I need a pullback in value. 10 crossing under the 20 and back over might be interesting. 10 crossing under the 50 EMA back over, but ideally what I'd like to see is just a pullback to value. Apple tends to get bought a lot when it sticks its head in the value zone, so that's what I'd be looking for. Adobe, man, this thing has been all over, hasn't it? Up and down and up and down and up and down and up. Big, nice up day today. But again, not a good risk reward level at these levels. Amazon, well, Amazon was way above the 1 ATR channel, which is the green line in the value zone. It has finally poked its head into the value zone. This is where I start looking and getting interesting. But just because it comes back into the value zone doesn't mean I just can immediately buy. Sometimes you wish you would because they come in value zone and immediately bounce. But I need a trigger. I need a structure to get me into a trade, and I don't have it here yet. Man, Boeing has had a tough run of it, hasn't it? Went back up into that value zone and failed. Now we broke out to a new range, new low range from a couple days ago, and also from this low here. 38.41 RSI. What I would be looking for on Boeing would be a deep dip buy down here at the 30 RSI, wherever that ends up, right about the 30 RSI. So nothing on Boeing today, but man, Boeing has just been getting hit. Berkshire Hathaway, my gosh, I'll tell you what, I mean, this is a wonderful stock to own. I mean, with all the companies they have and so forth and so on, but ever since their shareholders meeting, there has been a sell-off. But I definitely would look forward to the opportunity of buying Berkshire Hathaway at a 30 RSI. I definitely would buy it if it gets there. It's not there yet. But if it does get there, I will buy it. I mean, this is like a mutual fund in of itself with all the different companies and his investments. Interesting with all the cash that they have on hand, they did not buy the dip. That I think like 1% of their cash or something like that. They bought some equities with that. But, makes you wonder, right, why Warren Buffett did not think there were any good deals down there. And he may ultimately end up being correct. He's a pretty smart dude. So anyway, I would be looking for a under 30 over 30 RSI. Beyond Meat, huge day on earnings. Look at this volume. Wow, up 22% today. My gosh, this stock has more than doubled since the lows here. Unbelievable day. Too high for me to buy up here. Caterpillar down today is now closing under the -1 ATR channel. It takes an extraordinary amount of buying pressure to have a stock close above the 1 ATR channel. It takes an extraordinary amount of selling pressure to get a stock below the -1 ATR channel. So we've had quite some selling here. I would be looking on Caterpillar for a return up into the value zone, couple days down, and then look for a higher V1 or V2 trigger. Carnival. Well, Carnival is getting interesting. I mean, we were in the value zone. We broke out. We've come back down into the value zone. Now for a couple days, we've moved sideways. I mean, we're down today, but we haven't closed below that first day's low in the value zone. So we are starting to find some buyers down here. That's why it's just moving sideways. I would be interested in buying Carnival if I could get a trigger, and a trigger would be a V1 or a V2. Dow Jones, well, okay, Dow Jones was above the 1 ATR channel on that big move up. Now we're hanging out and consolidating in the value zone. So I would look for a V1 or a V2. Walt Disney had kind of a crazy day here. They had earnings. They were down 3% after earnings this morning. They gapped up a little bit, went up. This is technically it's a V1, but we rejected the 50 RSI already. We rejected the 50-day moving average. That's negative to the upside. We are holding the -1 to the downside. That is good, but I really don't see anything there. Let's look at the weekly. Yeah, on the weekly, we rejected the 200 week above. Maybe, here's the low, here's the high, about halfway. Fibonacci retracement would line up nicely with that third ATR channel, about 91 bucks. Let's see. So, yeah, too early right now to really say, but nothing there. Etsy has had one monster of a run. Unbelievable. Way too high for me today. I think earnings are today. Facebook up a little bit today. It's just kind of been stuck in a range here the last 5 days. Need a pullback to value. Gold. This was my stinker trade of the day here. I will be getting out of this at the end of the day for sure with the close below. I bought it yesterday with the bullish engulfing bar, V1, stop halfway the washout bar, and it definitely looks like it's going to stop below that today. Google was up higher earlier. It's kind of stuck here in this range up at the third ATR channel. Goldman Sachs back in the value zone, kind of bouncing around in the value zone. So if I could get a trigger, I would buy it. Home Depot rejected the third ATR channel, which is not surprising. Nothing there. Wait for a pullback. IBB pulled back into the value zone, immediately bounced back up, so I don't see anything there. Intel up a bit today, 1.5%. That's nice. It was a nice V1 here. I didn't take this because of the strength of the downside move. I like it to come down, move sideways. Okay, Russell I have still under the 1050 crossover. Johnson & Johnson, I like this a lot. I like the move up. I like the pullback. Lots of sideways movement in the value zone. Remember, whenever we have sideways movement for 2, 3, 4 bars, the longer the better, the more that baby's going to move either to the upside or the downside. We just don't know what direction or when it's going to happen. But there is a lot of consolidation here. I would expect to see this move one way or the other. But if I have a nice V1 or a V2, especially after this sideways consolidation movement, I would take it, especially here in the value zone, but nothing yet. All right, CarMax, waiting for it to pull back into the value zone. Coca-Cola down today. Nothing there. Lockheed Martin, ooh, look at this. Had a nice V2 yesterday with a close over the 200. I considered taking this yesterday, but I didn't because it rejected that 1 ATR channel and this range here. And good thing I didn't because this baby had just come right back down. MasterCard, how rude. It was positive, nicely positive on the day. I took it with the 1050 crossover, so slightly down on this trade, about 50 cents. Mickey D's above the 1 ATR channel into the value zone. A little bit of sideways motion, but no trigger as of yet. Merck, nothing on Merck. Microsoft, big strong day on Microsoft. Earlier, still up 1%, but seems like it goes up and gets rejected, goes up and gets rejected. Pull back into value is what I'd be looking for. Netflix, being has had a great 1, 2, 3, 4 day trade on Netflix, up over 6%. Congratulations, bud. Nike, nothing there, just range bound. Philip Morris, boy, look at this big reversal off the bottom. You know, Zach, if you're listening, here's a low. Here's a high. I would expect a pullback 50% retracement Fibonacci, which would be right here, the 50%, about 67.21. That would line up nicely with the negative third ATR channel. So see, there's a confluence of signals. A negative third ATR channel, we know 92% of prices hang right there. And in addition, it dovetails nicely with the 50% retracement. So it's not there yet, but that is kind of how I look at things, looking for those combinations. PayPal up strongly. I think they have earnings after the bell. Q's up nicely, waiting for a pullback into the value zone. Silver up a little bit. Interesting, it's up a little bit while gold is down. So just some sideways motion there. Really, what I'm waiting for is a 520 EMA crossover. SPY, okay, had the overnight SPY trade. That worked out well. Going to be buying that again today at the close. Teladoc, above the value zone, into the value zone. Has moved sideways, not really a V1 or a V2 entry here. Here we have a fake out bar. Here's day one. Day two goes above day one, closes under, basically a V1 to the downside, which is bearish, and then right back up the next day. So, you know, if you can kind of get this concept, if you have a V1 to the downside, and then the very next day it goes back up, you went from a negative signal to a positive signal. That's why I like these fake outs, but I'm not going to buy this here, although it is up nicely today. TLT having a nice little rebound, has rejected the negative third ATR channel like it often does. Also rejected the 50-day moving average. It's now above that, so that's good. Tesla up a couple percent today. I don't see anything there. Twitter, again, hanging out in the value zone. Better not to buy up here. I mean, this is when everything looks exciting. This is when the news is the best. I get it, but you generally better just to wait for a pullback to the mean reversion, pull back to the mean, get some sideways motion, then get a V1 or a V2. United Continental, boy, down 5.3% today. Don't see anything there. I might take a crack at United Continental if we can reject the 30 RSI, get a deep dip buy. UNG, whew, man, look at that. Look at this huge gap that went up yesterday. Negative kangaroo bar, rejection of the 100-day as well, and then right back down. But we are back down in the value zone, so if I could get some sideways movement, look for a V1, V2. That's when I'd be interested. UNH, nothing really there. Oil was down about 5% today. It got right up here to that 10 EMA, and I wasn't surprised. Like, it was positive that it closed above, but I'm not surprised that that's where it stopped, and now we're back under the 10-day. But MACD is positive, so that's good. Did VIX go positive on the day? Yes, it did. It did, but no signal. Verizon, oof, boy, that's been a pretty substantial sell-off. WBA, not looking too good. Walmart started off nice, but sold off, lost the 50 RSI. XLE, just kind of a hot mess. Financials not doing well. Financials have been beat up here. Look at this, way above the 1 ATR channel. Came into the value zone, now below it. That's not good. Real estate, nope. Utilities, man, big sell-off in utilities today. But bonds have been down as well. This is going to follow bonds quite a bit. Healthcare, nothing there. And Zoom's just hanging out in the value zone. So, yeah, I don't see anything today actually at all. Gold I have to get out of. And Karen and Miko and Dan are also in that. So I am going to be getting out of that shortly. MasterCard started off so good. Now it's gone back down, but I still have the 1050 EMA crossover. Man, SPY's really accelerating the sell-off. And IWM. Still with the 1050 crossover, so I'm still good there. Dirk says, thanks for the script, Greg. It's appreciated. You are welcome, sir. Glenn says, we have only one 3-day winning streak since February 2020, so logic says today should be down. Bulls need to hold 2790. Yeah, that's a key level, and 2700. Pincy and Company, hey, how you doing? Appreciate you coming. Hi, I'm new here. Greg, when you're looking for your V1 or V2 triggers, do you always look for a positive MACD? And I must say, this is an awesome channel. Great job. Oh, well, thank you very much. No, ideally, I would like MACD to be positive on any trade that I took, right? But a lot of times on deep dip buys, you're not going to get a positive MACD. So it's not a requirement on my V1s, V2s that I have a positive MACD. But it's ideal. If I had two stocks and they both had a V1 or a V2 trigger, and one stock had positive MACD and the other one did not, I would definitely go for the one that had MACD, because I just look at that as another indicator in my favor, because when MACD is positive, it means there's positive momentum. So there's a lot of times where I take V1, V2 triggers without positive MACD, but in a perfect world, I would like to have positive MACD, but it's not required. But having it does I think increase your chances. Steve Burns says, I like the way you think, Christopher. Glenn, Q's up, IWM down. That's right. Glenn has been long Q's and short IWM. Frank says stopped out of SE. $61.82. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. You got in at 58.05. Oh man, I thought you got like stopped out. Stopped out. That's no good. But fantastic trade. Fantastic trade, Frank. STNG. Oh yeah, tankers. So storing the oil. Well, look, we were above the 1 ATR channel. We came into the value zone. We moved sideways, came back up. So yeah, it would have been a little decent V2. It would have been a little high for me to buy, but now it's given it up. Yeah, I don't see anything here. This bar is larger than 1 ATR channel, so I don't. That's down 10% today. Holy smokes. Marcella is here. Good to see you. All right, so what I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead. Well, I've got 7 minutes, so we'll see, but I'm going to have to go ahead and take that loss on gold. Let me take this all in here. Yeah, Apple just went on down, didn't it? All right, let's take your trades. Okay, so on the positive side, Binghe has rallied back up a little on his TLT. I like that it rejected the negative third and the 50. Dirk is still in MTA. Netflix is off a bit, but still a great trade for Binghe. Amazon up nicely. Gert still positive on her trade. Nick has a week, so he still might come in okay. It looks like he's going to hold through earnings on those puts. And then Spice, Steve Burns, and let's see, who else bought Spice? Zach. Okay, I think 1866 was the buy area on Spice. Yeah, that one might go. I mean, nice move back above the 50, above all moving averages. MACD went positive above 55. Oh, Karen's also in Spice. Hey, Karen. All right. Karen, Steve, and Zach are spicing it up. Wow, the Dow's down 185 points now. NASDAQ's still positive. Okay, yeah, I don't see anything that I'm interested in today. Let me just do a quick. All right, so MasterCard's okay, it's fine. Still under the 1050. IWM, 1050 still in place there. Yeah, I just don't have anything. You know, we were talking about habits and trying to develop good habits, and you know, it's not that I don't want to take a position, but I just don't see anything today that meets my criteria. And who knows, the market could go screaming up tomorrow, and yeah, it's a bummer, but you know, at least you can take comfort following your rules. Following your rules is always going to be disappointing to you. Sometimes you're not going to take a trade because of your rules, and it's going to go skyrocketing. And then it's a bummer. And then other times you're not going to follow your rules and you're going to take a position and it's going to go crashing down. And then you're like, why didn't I follow my rules? Right? So they're always going to happen. You have to be okay with it. But there's going to be plenty of times where you take your signals and follow your rules. It's going to work for you. There's going to be plenty of times where you don't take a signal and it's going to go against you and you're glad that you didn't take it. All right, 3 minutes left. I better get out of gold here. All right, gold's gone. But bummer that it's down, but you know, glad I waited till the end of the day here. Doesn't mean that waiting till the end of the day is always going to have a rally, but you can see much better to sell here than here. But it was a good signal. I liked it. But it just didn't work out. And for me, 30 to 40% of my trades are not going to work out. So this is nothing new. And then I'll be buying SPY here. That's the bright spot of the day. Got the high and getting a little discount on this end of day one here. David's in Spice also. All right, so people are loaded into Spice. I don't mean that in a bad way. That sounded bad. David. Well, we've seen what Spice can do. You know, it definitely can do something. It's had some big moves. I just did not see this go under the 5 under the 20 and back over. That's the reason I'm going to pass, because on my chart readings, it didn't go under the 5 and over the 5. But the close over the 50 and all the moving averages looks good. On the daily, stuck right there in on the value zone. So good luck everybody on that. Wiener Dog's out of gold. That's Karen. Okay. Hey, Karen. All right. All right. So we have about 5 seconds on my end anyway. All right. 284.25 on SPY. 284.25. That's the end of day. Did get out of gold. Okay, gold is gone, which leaves me with MasterCard with the 1050 EMA cross, SPY, overnight SPY trade 284.85, and IWM with the crossover. So that's about it. Not a lot. Well, listen, if you have any other questions, need me to clarify something, please let me know. Happy to get to it. Real quick before I do, just want to put in my quick little daily plug and let everybody know that I do offer private one-on-one coaching and teaching lessons in the evening time via Skype. I do have a course. It's 5 sessions. Each session is 3 hours, so it's 15 hours total. I think it's a great course. It is $1,000, but I think it's worth every penny. I've had really good success with my clients. I really like to teach. I've been trading for 24 years. I've studied with some really great traders one-on-one like Stephen Burns, Dr. Alexander Elder, Kerry Lavorne, Larry Williams. And, in the course that I teach you everything I've developed over the years and everything I've learned from my teachers and mentors over the years. So it's, an involved course. It's pretty intense. If you decide to take it with me, be ready to ask a lot of questions, be able to break down a lot of charts to me. But the format is generally the first half I teach you, the second half you teach me. I have you break down charts. What's good about this? What's bad? What's the risk to reward ratio? Where's our trade? Where's our next trade? Where's your profit targets? What are we doing with scaling? What are we doing with trailing stops? Position sizing, psychology, all of that. So, and I teach about 5 different approaches depending on what the market's doing. So, I think you will really like it. I think it's money well spent. So if you're interested, please get a hold of me. You can email me. The email's in the description of this video. You can also send me a message on Twitter. But before I take on a new student, I do like to have a Skype call with them. And the Skype call is free and there's no pressure, but it's a good time for them to ask me all sorts of different questions about the course. It's a good time for me to ask the potential students some questions about their trading, their goals, their challenges that they've had, their expectations. And so it's just a good time to put a face with the name and see if we're a good fit for lessons. And anyway, I think you'd really enjoy it. I would really enjoy teaching you. I do my very best to teach you the best way I know how. And so again, if you're interested, reach out to me, send me an email, or you can send me a message on Twitter. And I have a lesson tonight with Anthony. So I'm really looking forward to that. It'll be our second lesson. Always look forward when I have lessons in the evening time. Like, good, got lessons tonight to teach. So, and then if you like today's podcast, I would appreciate it if you could just spend the time to take a half a second and just click the thumbs up button. It does help build the channel, helps the channel get promoted. A lot of people out there need help with trading, learning good trading principles. So if you could hit the thumbs up, I really, truly would appreciate it. All right. Dan says, as far as good habits, bad habits, this morning I noticed gold going down and then opened continuing to go down with MACD negative. I sold with a quarter loss. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, that's definitely good. Are you saying that was a good habit or a bad habit? Yeah, depending on your trading plan, it could have been either, right? For me, because a good habit for me is to wait till the end of the day, but you may have a different approach, right? So it could be a good habit, it could be a bad habit, but I'm glad you only had a 0.25% loss. Frank says, I never have understood the appeal of gold. Well, yeah, there's definitely some different camps on gold. Some people really like it. Some people really don't like it. I know it's outperformed the market pretty significantly over the last few years. But generally it's, a hedge, hedge for inflation, hedge for the dollar. But there's a lot of stocks that I don't particularly like, maybe the company or the trading, but if you have good back-tested signals and good back-tested setups, then I'm just going to take them. Dan says it's a question. Well, I'm not sure what to say there, Dan. I'm not sure I quite understand the question. And then open, continuing to go down with MACD negative. I sold with about a 0.25% loss. So are you asking if you thought that was a good habit or a bad habit? Sorry, but if you could clarify, I could answer a little better. So where did we end up down? So 218 points on the downside. Boy, that sold off quickly at the end of the day, and Nasdaq gave up about half, and the S&P gave up about half. I think we have some earnings today. Let's take a look. Boom. So we have PayPal, Square, and Lyft, and Etsy. Ooh, this should be interesting. PayPal's up $1. I don't know if they've reported yet. Square up a little bit. I don't know if they've reported yet. So Lyft looks like it's up. That's probably going to have an effect on Uber's price. Yep. Let me check over here. Okay. All right. Did anybody else have any other adjustments to their trades, entries, or exits that I didn't get up on the board? If you do, just let me know. I'll try to get those correct. Dan says, yes, gold was down in futures and open going down. Selling right then was good today, but is this a bad habit? Okay. Well, it would be a bad habit for me, Dan, because a good habit for me is to wait till the end of the day. So that's my best answer. If your plan was to wait till the end of the day, then yeah, you broke your plan. So that probably was a bad habit. If you had a different plan that allowed you to get out in the morning, depending on what was going on with the price, then that would be okay. But yes, if your plan was to hold it to the end of the day, I would say, yeah, it was probably a bad habit because you broke your plan. But it all depends what your intention is on the trade before you get out or before you get into it, and what your plan is. But I'm glad it worked out for you. I'm glad it worked out for you, Dan. So it says Lyft shares rise as company reports more riders than last year, despite the thing that's going on right now. I'm not going to say that word. Where did Disney end up today? Ended up down. Well, it's a beautiful day here in Utah, man. Has spring slash summer arrived. It is just beautiful. Really, really nice. Gonna go for a walk, grab something to eat, and get ready for my lesson. You know, I always walk Katie after the live stream, but it's a little warm for her because she's an old gal. So I usually go on my walk first, then come back, take her on her little walk, just so she can do her business, get out in the sun, get some fresh air. But it's a little warm for the immediate walks right after. Gert says, have to leave you, Greg. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you, Gert. Appreciate that. And I'm glad to see you are up, even though it's slightly, on your OMAB trade. Wow, Lyft shares jumped 15%. Holy smokes. What's happening after hours? Apple is down. MasterCard's down a little bit. SPY is down 50 cents. VIX is up. Any calls on PayPal, on PayPal's earnings? Any calls on Square's earnings? Think it's going up, going down? And what do you think the stock's going to do? Ooh, I think Square just already showed its hand because it's down $2. All right. Well, listen, last chance for questions. If not, I'm going to get out of here, but I'm happy to answer anything if you answer any questions if you have them. So last chance. Otherwise, I'm going to head on out of here and go get in the sun and the fresh air. All right. Well, listen, thank you everybody for coming. I appreciate it. It's nice to see you. I hope you have a good rest of your day. Please go out and try to do something nice for somebody today, a smile or a wave, or just do something pleasant, or give somebody a phone call who maybe doesn't have a lot of company, not around a lot of people, or have a lot of friends. Just give them a call. Tell them you're thinking about them. Just check in on them. They'll probably appreciate it. Frank says, earnings are where the market closes and the casino opens. That sounds like the first sentence of a new poem, Frank, because you are right. Yep, thanks for coming. And by the way, everybody, before you click out of here, if you can hit the thumbs up button, I would really appreciate that. But yes, you are 100% Frank. You're 100% Frank. You're 100% right, Frank. That's a good way to put it. All right. All right. Thanks, Ming-Hee. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Karen and Zach and Frank and Dan and everybody. I appreciate it. Steve Burns, thank you for coming. So have a good rest of your day. Hope to see you tomorrow. And I'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye. U.S. government required disclaimer. Stock, options, futures, and Forex trading is not appropriate for everyone. While there is a potential for large rewards, there is also a substantial risk of loss associated with trading. The material in this video or live broadcast is not geared towards any particular individual or to any particular financial situation and is not intended to meet the particular investment objectives of any viewer. This video or live broadcast, like all instructional materials produced by Gossett Trading and Mentoring LLC, is created and published for informational and educational purposes only. Any and all information contained in, implied, or referenced by this video or live broadcast is not to be construed as investment advice, and no representation is made that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast is an investment or financial advisor or is registered or authorized to give any financial advice. We are publishers and educators only. Therefore, the various producers of this video or live broadcast will not accept liability for any loss or damage of any kind which may arise either directly or indirectly out of the use of any of this material, including any loss of profit. No representation is made that any account or investment will or is likely to achieve the profit or losses demonstrated. We recommend consultation with a licensed and qualified professional before making any investment decision. This video or live broadcast is not to be construed as an offer to buy or sell any security, financial instrument, or financial product of any kind. Notice is hereby given that any individual or entity involved in production of this video or live broadcast or their clients may have an interest in any security, financial instrument, or financial product mentioned or referenced. Any simulated or hypothetical performance result depicted does not represent actual trading and therefore may under or overcompensate for the impact of various market factors such as lack of liquidity. Thank you.